by a force taking over this reality that has fooled us because it looks human. And you know, this is today, the era of chimeras. Scientists fearlessly create bizarre human animal hybrids. Did you know that scientists are creating cow-human hybrids, pig-human hybrids, or even mouse-human hybrids? They're doing it now at our level of knowledge. And one day, very soon, or sooner than later, all the people have taken the piss all these years are gonna have to face the fact that this is freaking true, and this is why the world is as it is, and when we understand it, we can do something about it. So shape-shifting, another thing, you know, I'm supposed to be kind of off with the fairies. It's so simple once you understand reality. Shape-shifting is possible, shifting from one form to another because the body is not solid. And I talked just a few minutes ago about dual information fields because of the dual DNA. And what we have is the DNA, which is one information field, the DNA, which is the human information field. And what happens is, as one information field becomes dominant, it changes the holographic projection of the dual field. So, most of the time, virtually all the time, when we see them, they are projecting the human part of their dual DNA, which projects into the holographic world as a human-looking hologram. When there's a shift, they could do it at rituals, and they can also do it when they go through really extreme levels of fury and emotion, emotional anger. When the reptilian or the archontic part of the dual DNA information field becomes dominant, then the hologram reflects the information in that part of the dual DNA. And to the observer, and that's all that's happening, someone has shifted from one shape to another. All that's happened, there's been an energetic shift, and the observer has first decoded the human and then decoded the shifted information field, and to the observer, that person has shifted from one shape to another. It's just the way two different information fields are being decoded by the observer. People send me things all the time, and they sent me this one a long time ago because it looks like reptilian eyes. I'm not saying it is, but it's just a symbolic example of how people have described to me, because the eyes go more than anything. They say the eyes are the windows on the soul, and that's absolutely true. And interestingly, a friend of mine has an associate who went through a study to, well, I don't kind of agree with it, but I don't know him, but to develop iris scanning technology. And it involved him scanning, he said, 2,300 eyes or pairs of eyes. And he said to my friend, the most amazing thing about the research, as he looked at the eyes at very, blown up level, that around 4% of those he looked at appeared to be of reptilian type in appearance. That's about 4 or 5% is the figure that keeps coming back to me over the years. And interestingly, I saw a figure the other day, they reckon about anything between 4 and 6% of the population are born psychopaths. Whether that's connected, well, have a think, I don't know. Now, so what we're looking at is behind the painted smile something very, very different. And you look here at one of the great traits of the reptilian brain. And of course, if you have more reptilian genetics, you're going to express the traits of the reptilian genetics information field more powerfully than the general population. And one of them is an obsession with ritualistic behavior and hierarchical structures of power. This is why things like royalty and the state are bloody obsessed with ritual. It all has to be at a certain time, in a certain place. It goes round and round, ritual, ritual, ritual. That's a classic trait of the reptilian brain. It's why people like Satanists are obsessed with ritual. The secret societies, of course, are obsessed with ritual. Religions are obsessed with ritual. Here you go. This is the lady. They're so freaking happy, these people, aren't they? Hey? They're so happy. And the emotionless state of so many of the royal family, the real genetically deep royal family, is classic reptilian brain archontic personalities. And you see the obsession with ritual. When they bring someone new in the bloody royal family, they have to send out a new list for who's got to curtsy or bow to who. I mean, they're bloody mad. It just happened to be head of state. Look at it. I know my place, your lick majesty. Have you ever seen her do that to him? We elect him. We have no frickin' say in her. And yet, all these professions that are supposed to be serving the people and anyone who wants to become a citizen, they don't have to pledge allegiance, an oath of allegiance to the people or the countries, to her, to the frickin' monarch. They have no power, they're purely symbolic to bring the tourists in. Bollocks. They're not even bloody British, the German royal family. Oh, look, Philip, is that the Luftwaffe? I mean, what the fuck? I mean, they place them in here, that's your head of state now, well, thanks very much. Does she speak English? Look in this one. We parasite off you when we have contempt for you, but you just let us do it while asking God to save me. What the fuck? God save the Queen! Bollocks to the Queen! And I have to bloody smile. There's a big England football match and all the players are lined up and the crowd are there and we're all patriotic. Oh, yeah, we are. And they go, long to reign over us. God save the Queen. Long to reign over us. I ain't, but many people, most of them are singing and demanding to be reigned over, suppressed, controlled over, dictated over. And that energetically has an impact, even though they don't consciously realize that's what they're doing. Just the national anthem, mate, it's not. See, it's lovely. They piss on us and we say it's raining. They piss on us and we say she's frickin' raining. There you go. And I think this guy's made the best statement ever about the Queen. I do. I love it. I think that's brilliant. It's fucking lovely. That's just absolutely perfect. Give that man a knighthood. So, in plain sight, this elite, it's not just arrived in the last few years. There's been a journey. It goes way back further than this, but you can pick it up in this ancient period when these very advanced societies, compared with much of the rest of the world, started to emerge in Mesopotamia, Sumer, Babylon, Egypt, the Indus Valley, and China. And these bloodlines came out of these ancient societies. The Chinese emperors used to claim the right to be emperor because of their genetic descendants from the serpent gods. And this is a major place they came out of, Sumer and Egypt, which became Babylon, which is now Iraq. The fact they're bombing the shit out of this place over and over and over and over again is because it has massive energetic, I can't go into it now because it's too long even for the time I've got, but it's got massive energetic significance globally. And they're creating massive energetic mayhem there for much deeper reasons than just on the surface. So these bloodlines started moving up into Europe under different names. They became the hierarchy that established Rome and the Roman Empire. Eventually they started to locate in Britain, and then they had the British Empire. Wherever these bloodlines have focused themselves or located themselves, a freaking empire has followed. We now have the American Empire, though they will not call it that. And eventually, as this virus spreading, this influence spreading, reached a certain global point, we had global Babylon. And global Babylon came when all the European powers, not least the British Empire, went walkabout all over the world, creating all the bloody colonies. And at that point, there was a resistance to the colonies, and they appeared to pull back and let the empires fade. That was only on the surface. What did I say? They're doing it now at our level of knowledge. And one day, very soon, or sooner than later, all the people have taken the piss all these years are gonna have to face the fact that this is freaking true, and this is why the world is as it is, and when we understand it, we can do something about it. So shape-shifting, another thing, I'm supposed to be kind of off with the fairies. It's so simple once you understand reality. Shape-shifting is possible, shifting from one form to another, because the body, by a force taking over this reality, that has fooled us because it looks human. This is today, the era of chimeras. Scientists fearlessly create bizarre human animal hybrids. Did you know that scientists are creating cow-human hybrids, pig-human hybrids, or even mouse-human hybrids? Is not solid. And I talked just a few minutes ago about dual information fields because of the dual DNA. And what we have is the DNA, which is one information field, the DNA, which is the human information field. And what happens is, as one information field becomes dominant, it changes the holographic projection of the dual field. So most of the time, virtually all the time, when we see them, they are projecting the human part of their dual DNA, which projects into the holographic world as a human-looking hologram.